Well, and again, this is we call it a blind spot because we're using negatives to explain them, right? So then we tell you why that's untrue.
There you go.
So
yes.
the number 3 is inflation won't hurt me that much.
Oh.
Okay.
And that's absolutely false.
Okay.
If you don't believe me, think about what you paid for your first candy bar you ever bought.
Absolutely.
I like the candy bar analogy because I was the fattest paper boy you ever saw. I delivered this for a very small town newspaper called the Laurinburg Exchange Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Just happened to, about halfway through the paper out, there was a convenience store that got a lot of my money on candy bars. And I was pretty chubby back then, even though I was pedaling my butt off all the time, so to speak, but I wasn't.
Yeah. What was your favorite bar?
Hershey's back then. We had Hershey's with almonds back then. And then I would also buy a Coca-Cola in the bottle for about 20 cents.
Yes.
Oh, that's good to go.
And I would
Very
buy
nice.
a bag of peanuts for about 20 cents and pour the peanuts in the Coca-Cola. Did you ever hear that?
Great combination.
I've heard of that. I've
Salt
heard
and
of that.
sugar thing.
Got to be a glass bottle.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And now if you want to mimic that, you get a Wendy's Frosty and some French fries.
Yeah.
They
Now
did it.
that
Oh,
is
that's
very
good.
true.
That
I
is
lo-
good.
Salt
I
and
do-
sugar
I-
thing.
I
Right?
do
Now
that
I want
regularly.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, so inflation, though, it's been here. And again, I joke about the candy bars, but I'm serious. And they were a lot bigger back then.
Mm-hmm.
Mom used to get always mad at me because I would go around and collect on my route, and then I'd come up with half the money. But they also had pencils at the stores. I bought some pencils. Says, look, Mom, I bought pencils for school.
Had to have that to hold
Yeah,
up.
but the candy bars were bigger, real sugar in there, and they were a dime. And now that same candy bar wouldn't even be sale for $1 because they consider that the supersized one now. You
right.
see, they supersize things,
Yeah.
right? And so, but let's think about what you paid for your first house. And I remember my dad in 1974 paid $37,000 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. It's 1,400 square feet in Laurinburg, North Carolina. So it's not the most expensive place to live, but $37,000.
Oh, gosh, yes.
And they sold that my parents sold it in 1996 for like double. And then I just saw that house got sold again about 5 years ago for almost $200,000.
Good gracious.
Funny, isn't it? But then let's keep the houses out of the equation. When you bought one house for $37,000, my dad paid like $50,000 for a new car a couple of years ago. So you think about what you paid for your first house, and then think about what you paid for your last car, and that's inflation. There's no argument on that, right?
Major inflation.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the government will tell you it's not that high because they don't want to increase your Social Security payment. There's that thing. But things do get more expensive.
Want to
I'm the
hear
junk food
more?
guy.
Head on over to financialsafari.tv or follow the Financial Safari on your favorite podcast app for new shows every week.